Welcome, everyone. It is 1 o'clock. We're going to wait for a couple more people to join. We want to make sure that we've joined the folder. This is in partnership with Bubble Up, so definitely make sure that you click the link in chat where it says, this is the folder. Click on that, join the folder, sign up. It is super helpful. I use this to organize everything from my YouTube videos when I'm planning it in the idea stage to backing up footage. It is a great way to send links to clients, super helpful. And today I'm going to be going over how to be a YouTuber today in 2020. It has changed a lot over the years, so I'm going to be really sharing really helpful tips that are really relevant for right now, for today, to be a YouTuber. So I have a little bit of background about me in case you're wondering. I actually started as, this doesn't usually happen. I was on the other side. I was in the agency world. I helped manage YouTube talent. So from that, I went from managing YouTubers and, learning a lot about that end of the business to eventually turning that into my own career by becoming a YouTuber after that. And through that journey, I really, found the value in what it means to be a YouTuber and what is it really like to be a YouTuber. And I think it's definitely helped me because I know what brands are looking for and what does it really mean to make money on YouTube. So I'm going to go over all of that good stuff and how you guys can make money and how you guys can really turn this into a sustainable career that's fun and healthy and good and, all that good stuff. So we have some new attendees, yay. Welcome, Jackie, welcome everyone, Cindy, Krista, welcome, and please let me know if you have any issues in the chat down below. There is a link in the chat as well, so make sure you click on that. It's the Bubble Up link, and that is the folder where you're going to be able to find all the resources we're going to be going over today in this webinar, this workshop. Awesome. So glad to have everyone, yay. Oh my goodness, I am also just so ecstatic that everyone's excited because being a YouTuber, I think, it has its different stereotypes. It can be good, can be bad. And there are so many things about being a YouTuber that are misunderstood. I actually did a poll on my Insta stories and I asked people, where do you think YouTubers make money? How do you think it, all these different questions. And a lot of people have different thoughts on how it works with money and everything on YouTube. And I hope that this will help answer all of those questions and help give you a better perspective of, do you want to be a YouTuber? What type of niche do you want to start in? How do you even start? And what gear do I use? But what gear, minimum do you need? This is not about, the gear of saying I think you need the most expensive thing or anything like that. It's really about, here's what I use, but here's all the basic things that you can use to just get started. And I think that's always the hardest step, is that first step to get started. So I'm just here to be your pep talk and your friend that can hopefully help share all the good knowledge and get you started. Okay, so let's see how our folder is doing. We have some new joins. Okay, great. Let's see. Cool. So please comment down below also and let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm here in Brooklyn, New York City. I travel a lot, but it's so nice to be in Brooklyn, in New York, and just, chilling for a bit. Yeah. And also let me know if you have any questions throughout the webinar. Make sure you find that chat box down below so that you can easily find it and comment anything that's going on. Awesome, Kendra here from New York. Welcome, yay, I love some good New York representation. Amy from Charleston, South Carolina, awesome. And Amy is also joining us from Bubble Up. She will be here if we have any additional Bubble Up specific questions. So everyone, thank you so much for joining. So excited to get started soon. Yeah, so I think we'll wait just a couple more minutes, make sure everyone's in. And I think maybe I'll start off with this funny tidbit story that I just think is always fascinating and kind of was the reason why I became a YouTuber in a lot of ways. I worked at this agency and I was managing YouTubers with millions of subscribers, so many subscribers. And I learned a lot from, how they worked, how they connected with brands. And one of the things that really, frustrated me about that and was really eye-opening was that, one of the YouTubers, for example, he had millions of subscribers and he was ignoring my emails for a huge brand deal with one of the biggest computer clients. It was crazy. And, we were offering him like $20,000 for a quick 30-second mention in a video. And he was ignoring my emails. And then he finally responded and he's like, oh no, it's too below budget. And I think that was a really interesting perspective to say, okay, I'm on the wrong side of this table and I should really finally, I've always been creating travel content and photos and a lot of articles, blog posts about travel and New York City. And I really helped encourage me to be like, okay, I'm on the wrong side of this. If people are YouTubers with millions of subscribers are ignoring me for $20,000, maybe I should try this whole thing, and maybe it's not too late to be a YouTuber. And I started my YouTube channel back in the end of 2016, which is crazy how time flies. And that has been such a great journey. So I'm so grateful I started it. So glad to help tell you today how to get started. Currently hiding in my office in New York City. Good afternoon. Yay, I'm so glad you're hiding in your office. I love it. Hopefully no one notices, it's a great lunchtime activity. Beyondness from Long Island, New York, awesome. From Miami, Florida, wonderful. Welcome, welcome. I love that there's so much New York representation. Yeah. And this is going to be such a fun webinar, such a fun workshop. Today, we are going to learn all about how to start your YouTube channel and how to really make money off of your YouTube channel. I think there are so many ways to make money off of YouTube, and we're going to get into all of it, not just AdSense and not just affiliates. So, okay, so I just want to make sure one last time everyone has clicked this link. I'm going to type it in one more time. This is our link. Rest home for my doctor's appointment for this. Lal from the Bronx. Yay, Reiki. Oh, thank you so much. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. I really appreciate that you rushed home to come attend this. This is awesome. So that is the link right there. And then I am going to make sure everyone's in it. And we are seeing some great new engagement in our folder. So that'll be where we all tune in. So now I'm going to share my screen. Let's get started. This is gonna be great. I'm so excited. Okay, so does everyone see my screen right there? It is gonna be the actual starting a YouTube. So we are gonna start here. This is the folder that you have hopefully all joined. And please let me know if you have any more questions, comments, concerns, anything. I'm here for you. Basically, I'm gonna make sure I open up the chat in my phone so that I can follow along there. Cool. Okay, so let's get started. So I wanted to start with sort of an inspirational quote, which is basically, YouTube is the hardest thing to build, but the most rewarding thing I've ever done. And I seriously believe this. I really think that YouTube is an important and crucial turning point in my career as a content creator, whatever that means. Some people call us influencers, and there's so many names for it these days, but in general, being a YouTuber has been the most rewarding thing. I've been an Instagrammer, a blogger, all the different things, but definitely YouTube is the most rewarding, and I really hope that you all, take that away. If you take anything, it's that this is a very different platform than Instagram, which is very visual, but very, it's not as engaging as YouTube. Okay, now let's get into why. I think it's super important to think about your why. For example, Simon Sinek has this why video that he had mentioned, that a lot of companies that you really purchase from, and a lot of the most popular, successful companies, it's not about what they sell, it's about why they sell it. So you have this connection to the why. And I highly recommend that you're thinking about the why. If, for example, your why is, I want to be a YouTuber, I would think, what does that really mean? I would think, I want to market and sell my products or services. That's a great reason, and that is a great place to be on YouTube. I want to educate and help people. I hope this is your reason, because it's the best way to use YouTube. I highly recommend it. And to really think about, what is the value and the differentiator that's going to allow people to watch your videos and engage with your videos. Okay, so let's get into the reasons why you probably haven't started a YouTube. Comment down below if you have started a YouTube, but maybe you just haven't had time, or if you have any of these resonate with you. For me, I've heard all of these, and I've actually thought all of these myself. And I'm so glad that I have definitely been able to figure out, okay, this is why we need to like rethink this. So for me, I've heard, what's my niche? What type of content should I create? This is an important question to think about. And it is definitely something that is a difficult thing to think about. So we have a whole bubble up folder about it, but basically what's my niche? This is something that you want to think about in terms of not just what type of content do you already create, what type of content already exists on, okay, I'm getting a little notification in chat. I'm just gonna check in. Okay, cool. So yeah, so basically you want to think about the niche, like what does that really mean, and what basically what is going to be your corner of YouTube that you're going to own, and where will you really share all of your knowledge. So this is specific to you, and something that I definitely recommend you spend a lot of time thinking about. Is it too late to start a YouTube? I hear this a lot, and I definitely don't think it's too late. It's not too late to start a YouTube. YouTube is already too saturated with too much of my type of content. I actually disagree with this and think that if you feel that it's too saturated with your type of content, maybe that's a good sign, and maybe that's a sign that there is a want and a need for that type of content, but you just need to figure out what your angle is. So maybe you're right, there are a lot of fashion or beauty people, but what is your angle that makes it different? Yes, there are a lot of people who review content around different maybe computers and things and tech reviews, but maybe your angle is different. So that, for example, there's an awesome YouTuber who beatboxes, which is so cool. And then some people say, oh, I'm not creative, but you actually don't have to be super creative. I highly recommend it to still, if you're a really good speaker, if you're great on camera and you're great talking to other people, even just in person, not necessarily on camera, this might be a great opportunity to partner up with other people to help you behind camera at first and then get into it. So you don't necessarily have to be super creative. The camera, tripod, mic are too expensive. I will totally tell you that you can use your phone, and I am not recommending any specific things necessarily. I'll share what I use, but I do not over recommend certain things. Okay, so I see 2 comments in the chat. Let's take a moment for that. I did start a YouTube channel in 2018, Beyond This, awesome. But first, I do not have time, and I felt like my YouTube channel was heading towards where I wanted it to, and I didn't know what content to use. That is a really great comment. Thank you so much, Denise. I feel like that is definitely one of the #1 things, is that I feel like I don't have enough time. And that's actually one of the next ones after, I'm scared of being on camera, which being on camera, definitely, it takes time. Keep practicing. Do 10 videos in front of the camera, and then the 11th video might be the first one you post. So just keep practicing for that. I don't want to be judged or get hate comments. I definitely don't get a lot of hate comments, but you do have to have thick skin for that. I don't want to give away too much value. This is not an issue at all. If you're adding value and giving education on YouTube, that's the way it should be. So yeah, so Denise, I think that you are definitely in the same boat as a lot of people, in that it does take time. I'm not going to deny that. But I was actually able to build up my YouTube channel while I had a full-time job, while I've had 2 full-time jobs, and it is possible. but it's definitely, it takes setting aside time. So for me, it was, I would film maybe in the early mornings before my job, and then go to work and then edit it on the weekends. So I feel like if you're really interested in doing this, you can definitely set aside the time, and hopefully, you know, really figure that out. And maybe you'll be able to figure out the niche better in this talk. Okay, so let's, Sindel says, currently in the process of shooting, editing, going to be launching in May. Yay, excited for you. Trying to have my first 20 videos completed before launching an for organizational purpose. Super exciting. Ooh, that is awesome. I definitely really respect and admire that. I think having that many videos ahead of time is so hard. So I actually might recommend actually not necessarily, you really don't have to have 20 ahead of time. I definitely would avoid putting all 20 up at once. So I would definitely, I'm sure you will be doing this, schedule them out. But depending on what type of content they are, I also would recommend, don't wait until you've made 20 to necessarily make the channel. 10 is definitely a more manageable number. And I feel like you will constantly be learning from this experience. So the sooner you can put videos up on YouTube, the sooner you're going to learn. I will sometimes get awesome constructive criticism from my viewers who say, "Ooh, the audio, this, you know, whatever it is, it helps us be better at what we're doing and be better at YouTube." So I definitely recommend, you know, putting up those videos as soon as possible. And then we have another comment, which is, I have been nurturing my channel for over a year now, and I'm struggling to expand my audience. I've tried sharing on all platforms, but for some reason, I don't think I'm reaching new people and people who are interested in my niche, wellness and healing. Thank you for doing this, by the way. This is awesome. Yay. Thank you so much for asking. So, and commenting. This is really helpful input. And I think that growth is a whole nother animal. I could go on so many tangents about this, but I think that I might have to wait to really answer this, unpack this later at the end. We're going to have a whole section for Q&A. But yeah, I think that growth is the hardest thing to do on YouTube. And one of the best ways that I've found a way to grow on YouTube is definitely to try to grab your audience from other channels, from Instagram, from things like that, from your newsletter if you have one, a blog if you have one, and to really tell people, not only what value you're adding on your YouTube, what makes it different, why is it different than the content that you share maybe on Instagram, but also to really share a little bit about why this is good for YouTube. So I think some people at when they first start out only have short videos on YouTube that they've already shared on Instagram. I would avoid that. So I think really figuring out what is the value, talking to your audience, engaging with them directly from the other platforms is really helpful. So I start my YouTube December 29 and I'm at 140 subs. Yay. Honestly, I really hope that you guys recognize that getting over 100 subscribers is a huge milestone. That milestone actually means that you are able to grab your name, which is so hard and something that no other social channel has. Once you get to 100 subscribers equals your name. So I think, yay, like that is a huge, huge milestone. Congrats. 10,000 is a great milestone to then reach for by the end of the year. I love it. Definitely, I'm going to help you get there, Junior. And then, yeah, planning to schedule them out. Just completed my top 5. Okay, wonderful. Yay. Upload them earlier. Okay. So let's get back to our folders. It's so good. I'm so glad that we can like all chat. I love this sort of structure of having my bubble up folder here, but then we can also chat and do everything. And you guys are also welcome to comment. You can heart, comment on anything here in bubble up. I'm gonna be interacting with all of you guys, not just today, but if you're in this folder later on, highly recommend it. We can continue the conversation. Okay, so here we are in niche. This is the, yay, really good info, yay, I'm so glad. Here we are, the biggest question that people ask, drum roll, what do I make on YouTube? So The most popular types of videos, let's get this over with. Number one, product review videos. If you want to build affiliate revenue, boom, there you go. You want to review products, that is a huge part of YouTube. It is hard to stand out, but it is definitely an area of YouTube where there is opportunity for growth. I would say how-to educational videos are my favorite. This is where you really have educational information on whatever, niche that you are passionate about. It could be anything. Vlogs, I definitely don't necessarily recommend starting out with vlogs. Vlogs is a niche that works well once you've already built an audience, and then the audience wants to tune in daily or weekly. But vlogging can oftentimes not have a story, which I'll get into later. You want to make sure that every video has a story, and that is the priority. Okay, to keep people engaged. I'm so excited. Okay, before I get ahead of myself, the other popular videos are gaming videos, number 4, and then comedy skit videos, shopping haul videos, favorites, best of videos, and we've got so many different like subgenres in each of those that I definitely would basically say that you can do with a lot of different topics. So how do I find my niche? This is the big question. What is a niche? So a niche is a section of YouTube, a slice of the pie that you can call your own. If, for example, you work in healthcare, but you notice that, there's not enough information about this specific thing that you know information about, I definitely would recommend you think about what is your expertise, and how can you add value on YouTube? What are other people talking about? What's going to differentiate you? And then I do say here, make a long list of everything you like and would easily talk about for hours. I want you to really think about this because a niche is something that you might have for years. So in the beginning, I would definitely say it cannot hurt for you to have multiple niches and try different things. It definitely doesn't hurt. But eventually you might want to figure out what niche you want to stick to. And then when you do, you want to think about something you could talk about for hours. So I can talk about for hours, YouTube. So that's why I'm talking about YouTube right now, and I love it. And then ask your friends, once you've made this long list, what do they think your strengths are? Research what videos exist on YouTube and where you can add value. I think where you can add value is the key to all of this. So keep that in mind. I also have some resources here all throughout the folders, so I highly recommend you check this out. This is a really helpful article that I think is the only one that really structures it well and says niches for your channel. It's not just about picking a niche, but it's also to figure out what you're passionate about. So I love that. Great video. If you're more of a video learner, I got videos throughout here, all for you. No biggie. I'm going to keep adding to this, which is the awesome part of the Bubble Up folders, is we can keep adding to them and commenting and liking and engaging with it. So next I have gear. So if you are curious, what do I edit on? I actually edit on Adobe Premiere. So that's why I have a couple of Premiere resources. And then I also have Final Cut Pro because they're both similar. I recommend both. They're both great. And then what camera and tripod do I use? Well, thank you for asking. I have this link to my camera. However, I do want to recognize that my camera is very expensive and this is not a beginner camera at all. I totally recommend, once you click in there, I have a couple folders of beginning cameras, things like that. But in the end, if you can only afford to start on your phone, I highly recommend that. Your phone has a really great camera. So set up your phone, get a tripod. I would say a tripod is more important than buying a separate camera. Get a tripod, get a little attachment that holds your phone on the tripod, and then start there. Make sure you like this before you invest too much. Okay, mistakes, let's get into it. The biggest travel video mistake, number 1, is that there is no story. I cannot stress this enough. Drone montages with no story, Um, can I get your IG to finish this lesson? Yes. Here's my IG. And I'm gonna continue commenting, and definitely everyone think about your questions for afterwards. I'm gonna sort of speed through this so we have even more time at the end of this presentation for questions. So basically the biggest travel video mistake is that there's no story. You know what I'm talking about when people, for example, say, have drone montages, it's so beautiful, or they even have a travel montage and you're just like, okay, I see that you went this place and you had this for breakfast, lunch, dinner, but there's still no story. We're talking about more than just chronological order, but having a story of, it was my first time going to this place and we weren't sure if we would get along. You know, it was like my first getaway with my boyfriend. Did we survive it? You know, like have fun with it. Like have fun with the story so that people are engaged throughout the whole entire video. Um, well, you're great with this. Oh, yay. Thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. Awesome. And then, yeah, I really think even a vlog is not just a day, but you have to have an arc of a beginning, a middle, and an end. The resolution at the end of the problem that maybe was started in the beginning. Okay, so now the second biggest travel mistake, which kind of goes back into why are people watching this in the first place, you want to think about the importance of the first 30 seconds. So the importance of the first 30 seconds is everything. It is crucial on YouTube. I cannot stress this enough. YouTube values those first 30 seconds, and that could make or break your entire channel when you're starting out. If your video is not engaging the audience very quickly, you're going to lose them. So that's not going to count as a view, and then they might not subscribe. You want to hook people. You want to get them excited, hook them with a fun blooper. My latest video that I just uploaded of the best hot chocolate in New York City, I shared the worst hot chocolate moment, and I was like, ooh, it was watery, and I make a face, and then I cut it immediately back to the intro. And then you're like, well, now I have to watch it, have to find out, why is there this blooper? What is happening? What is the current situation here, and why, you know, like you kind of feel like you have to watch it just for that worst hot chocolate. And then the hook can also be an exciting action or a moment. There's so many different ways that you can structure it. And then third biggest travel video mistake, so no SEO. This is so crucial. So SEO is something that can really make or break a video. I do feel like not a lot of people know about this. So SEO is search engine optimization. Optimization. I'm going to type this in, and the number one tool I recommend is TubeBuddy. That's my favorite. I am not an affiliate or anything like that. I just really like it. So definitely sign up for TubeBuddy if you're really serious about growing your YouTube channel. That was the difference between my YouTube channel being a beginner channel and it being me taking it very seriously, is when you're able to really look up what are the best titles, what are the best description tags, because your keywords need to be used in your title and your description as well. So I highly recommend getting better at SEO. Everyone thinks it's super hard, but it's actually not as hard as you might think it is. It's definitely worth, you know, checking out. So, okay, let's get into, so those are our three biggest mistakes. Going back to my bubble up folder. Once we have gone over mistakes, now you have some shooting tips. So you know, finally settle down with your phone, your camera, whatever it is, and you're starting to shoot. I really want to stress that you want to think about composition. So like each picture as of a frame, picture each frame of a video as a photograph. So I thought I was clever by putting the word picture there, but I'm confusing myself. But yeah, so each frame of a video, you want to think, okay, how am I framing this? how am I making this a beautiful photograph, but it's a moving photograph, so each clip is interesting, engaging, and keeps your audience engaged. So hold the camera steady. I cannot stress this enough. Tripod, put it on a tripod when you first start. You're going to thank me later. If you're shaky or anything like that, you need a tripod, especially if you're talking to camera for a long period of time. It's better than holding your hand out and the shot is very close to you. You definitely would prefer to have a tripod. Trust me on that. Also, in general, when you first start out, hold it on a subject for 10 seconds. So you want to keep the actual subject in the frame for 10 seconds. Don't keep moving the camera too fast. That's something that I did for a few years in the beginning, is that you think, oh, you got the shot, you keep moving it to the next shot, but you really have to hold it for 10 seconds so that the beginning doesn't count, the end doesn't count. There's at least 5 good seconds in the middle. Bad audio will ruin a video. This is so crucial. Do not invest too much money on a camera. Save all that money for the mic. If you can invest about $50 on a microphone, it will go a very long way. So that is my number one advice. If you're going to splurge on anything, splurge on the microphone. Lighting. So definitely avoid harsh shadows at noon. So this is when you have those raccoon eyes and the shadows are just like really harsh. It's hard to see the face because there's just so much contrast and it's not good. So avoid that. Definitely shoot in the early morning or later on. Golden hours will go a long way. Clean your lens every time you turn on your camera. That is another thing that I definitely messed up a lot in the beginning. There were so many times when I had lots of specks on my camera and I didn't even realize it. So just clean your lens every time. Digital zoom is not as good as optical zoom. So here, by the way, is all the examples of the specs on my camera, which were driving me nuts in my video on San Francisco that I used for this article, which you can click on. It's super helpful. It's right here in my Bubble Up folder. And then what is digital versus optical zoom? I'm so glad you asked. But basically, digital zoom is not the same as optical zoom. So digital zoom is when you see this kind of pixelated version, is when you maybe have an iPhone where it says you can zoom in 2x, but you keep zooming in and you go all the way, okay, 2.7, I can see it now, click. No, don't zoom in past what you're able to zoom in. On a DSLR, you can't really zoom past it because you have a zoom lens that ends at a certain point. But on certain digital cameras and certain smaller, cheaper cameras, it will let you keep zooming in, and I would just avoid zooming in too much. Trust me, this quality will show. Okay, cool. We are moving along. So, editing tips. Okay. This is good, just short to the point. My biggest advice, and this is definitely up to everyone, there are definitely different preferences. Editing should improve your video, not take over your video. I highly recommend not overstressing about the quality, like the quality of the editing. In the beginning, you want to cut the video together and focus on the actual video. What is the content? If it's badly edited, you'll be surprised of how many people are turned off if there's too many transitions and things like that. So if you're trying to show off, like, look at me, I know how to edit, but you don't, avoid that. So just try to like do simple edits in the beginning. Honestly, if you have a budget for it, hiring an editor is amazing. I mostly edit my own videos though, so I do feel like it just takes time to learn how to edit. It takes 2 years to be really good at it. And then edit to the music, have fun with it. I have a question from Denise, thank you so much. She says, how long should a YouTube video be? Asking this as shooting tip because I always keep my videos to 15 minutes max. You totally read my mind. I definitely think that 15 minutes is the sweet spot. So I would say like 10 to 15 minutes is the sweet spot. So you are completely on target there. I think 15 is great. Over 10 minutes is when YouTube allows you to have an additional ad. So that's really helpful. And I think, you know, a place where a lot of YouTubers end up because they feel like it's not too long, but it's long enough that people would watch it all the way through. And then you do maximize your ad revenue from that. So you do have to really watch the level of the music. So I would say avoid sensitive information. So watching the level of the music means that when you're talking and you have music at the same time, avoid the music going over your subject of talking. Yay, Denise, I love it. So yeah, so I have definitely made this mistake before where I had videos where the music was so loud you could barely hear me talking, but I loved the music, so I accidentally edited it to be too loud. And it's definitely so tricky. Are there any Okay, so we have a couple questions coming in the Q&A. Yay, I'm so excited. I'm going to address those soon. Stay tuned. Tarawana and Jackie, thank you so much for submitting your questions. If you have more questions, you can submit them in the chat or in the Q&A. We are almost there. I'm so excited to share more of those answers with you guys and continue that Q&A. So yeah, so to just finish up editing tips, I would say avoid sensitive information. That includes your address. If you are unboxing something, I still see so many people unbox something and it's clearly showing their address. Just be careful. Don't show your address. If you're, checking into a hotel and you're making a vlog and you're like, look at my room, number 101, like, and I'm going to be here for a month. Don't do that. Just in case. So be careful. Text goes a long way. So I do feel like you can tell the beginner editors from the more advanced editors through how they edit their text. And that is something that, comes with time, you can get better at. I definitely think that becoming a good editor at text is more important than crazy transitions. And then in general, just have fun with the edit. Yeah, that is our editing. Okay, so we are moving on along. I have a folder here in BubbleUp, which is my folder of an example video for YouTube. So one of the ways that I use BubbleUp, and there are so many different ways you can use BubbleUp, is you can also use it as a backup, a storage. It can be an amazing resource to share with clients your video. So for example, I have final video for client review. These are two videos that I just published. This is the one that I mentioned earlier of the worst and best hot chocolate, which has a really good hook. It's great. So you can share a YouTube video right here like this, or you can even share the actual video file in the folder. So I'm not going to play this whole thing, but I do love this edit with the text, which is called masking. And that took me many minutes. I think at least 30 minutes to edit this. When I first started, it took me 2 hours to do something like that. But yeah, so have fun with the editing, hear like the text. I just wanted to show you sort of an example of it so that you can see what it looks like in BubbleUp to both have a video that's natively added. You can just add it very easily, or a YouTube link, which is just a link to that YouTube video. So yeah, so this is a great way to share with clients, the actual video file to make sure they, approve it if that's part of your process. And then, yay, more Q&As coming in, cool. And then editing, I'm getting out of order, aren't I? Okay, so first I go with my ideas stage. In my ideas stage, I have, for example, here's a blog post that I want to make into a video. So this is all about all about 101 secret New York City facts. This is something that turned into a video, so I wanted to remind myself, okay, here's something I want to make into a video. And then San Juan, Puerto Rico, I just went there about a week or 2 weeks ago, and I want to do a secrets of San Juan video. I want to do a first impressions video, more vlog style. I recorded a bunch of stuff while I was there, but I haven't, it's still in the idea stage. I haven't edited or figured out what my script is, which is the next step. And then New York City ideas. I just finished the New York City hot chocolate video. And then one of the ones I've been working on for like 2 years, it's crazy, I need to finish it, is a Williamsburg guide to everything. Because I live here, I totally keep adding to it, and I have just forgotten to close it out. And then best bars and going out guide, New York City subway tips continued, one of my top videos. I definitely want to make a part 2 for that. So that is my idea stage. And then I go into the script phase, which is where I have this Bronx article, which it's basically a script already, turn it into a video. And then the hot chocolate, I made a note here to myself to say, okay, these are when all these different things are open, and this is how I'm going to record it in that order. So this is a note, for example, that I made for the hot chocolate video. So after the script comes the editing, and it is helpful for me to think about things like this. You can totally use Bubble Up and your folders and notes however you want, but I find it helpful to have separate ones for, okay, number one, filmed and it needs to be edited. So for me, that's Williamsburg, and I finally edited Hot Chocolate, and then partially edited San Juan. So I know that, you know, it's in the stage where I just need to really edit it. And then if you wanted to have another one for needs a thumbnail, blog, etc. This is just a helpful way that I use to help organize my videos on Bubble Up. Okay, cool. So we are moving on along, and then we have, okay, what everyone, drumroll, is wondering about YouTube is, how do you actually make money? So let's start here. So how to make money on YouTube. Everyone thinks that it's actually just affiliate revenue and sponsorships that are and AdSense that are probably the biggest things. When I asked my audience, for example, about affiliate revenue, they all thought that, you know, Amazon affiliate revenue actually made way more than, let's pull up this percentage. Oh, it was 54% thought that Amazon affiliates make more money than selling products. But in the end, it's not necessarily Amazon affiliates, especially if you're not in the fashion world where affiliates is maybe a bigger thing. You will find that affiliates through other companies will actually be a much better friend to you. So it could be a travel company, it could be booking.com, Airbnb, whatever affiliate you are connected with that you can make money with, you can include those links in the description of your videos and then make so much more from that than the 5% on Amazon a lot of times. So definitely keep your mind open to other affiliate programs. When I asked my audience if they thought more subscribers equaled more money, actually 63% said that more subscribers equaled more money, and that is not necessarily true. I have a small but wonderful audience on YouTube, and I seriously see such great engagement, and I think that I'm able to make more money because of my sponsorships than, let's say, someone with 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, but oftentimes has less views than I do. I have a really good view engagement number. And then they also, in addition to that, if they're not doing sponsorships, they're not making as much. If they're not selling their own products and services, they're not making as much. So you can make as much money or as little as you want on YouTube. It's completely up to you, and it's definitely something that is determined by how you use it. So I definitely recommend using it to sell your own products and services, courses, whatever that might be, and then to really maximize your affiliate revenue, not just with Amazon. AdSense is something that goes up and down, so I would say don't bank on that. And then eventually, as you grow, sponsorships will be your friend. It is one of the greatest ways to make money on YouTube. And then we've got YouTube partner programs. So if you are looking to make money through AdSense and you're curious what that means, you have to have over 1,000 subscribers. So that is a great milestone. And then you have to have over 4,000 hours of watch time. It does have to be public watch time, so that cannot be ads, and it has to be in the past 12 months. So if you had a viral video over 12 months ago, it doesn't count. You need a viral video this month or this year. So I hope that helps answer that question about AdSense. And then here is another article of how to make money. I think that there are so many ways to make money on YouTube that people don't always realize. So I hope that that helps give you a good perspective on that. And then let's get into the closing so that we have time for questions. Number 13. So we have next steps. So in general, I hope that this helps you figure out your niche, but you can still experiment and change this. Don't feel like you're stuck. But figure out what is your corner, where do you want to exist on YouTube, and you can do this by researching what videos already exist so you know where you can add value. Make sure you know why you're starting a YouTube and why should people care to watch your YouTube, and what value will you add. I know I keep saying this, what is the value you add, but if you're not thinking that way, you're going to regret it. Just make sure that you're educating or sharing something that's helpful for other people that really adds value. So then make 5 videos, make 10 videos, make 100 videos. You guys, I have almost 200 videos on my YouTube channel, and I highly recommend just keep going. That you're going to want to give up on YouTube many times. It might be the first comment that you get that is not super favorable, but you have to figure out and really remove yourself from taking it personal and say, is this constructive criticism? Is there something I can improve my videos? If not, delete, move on. If someone's being rude to you and harassing you, just delete it and move on. And then, I just want you guys to have fun with it. There's so much to YouTube that can be really fun and really awesome. And seriously, the best fans are on YouTube. This is another little quote, and then just, my info, if you need it, feel free to email me if you have any questions. My quote is, YouTube might be the hardest platform you build, which is the truth, but each subscriber will support you like you've never been supported before. So please keep that in mind. The support on YouTube is unmatched. It is wonderful. I highly recommend it. And if you need anything, you can email me, jennifer@thetravelwomen.com. But we are at the end of our presentation. Yay! We did our thank you. And then there's also your folder. So I have a folder here where we had an awesome guy add a little video. He was like, this is so cool, love Bubble Up. Thank you. And then if you guys want to add more things or resources, please feel free to add it to your folder for you guys. And then now we can get into questions. Yay. Thank you so much. Oh, can you add your email again? Yes. So Jennifer@thetravelwomen.com if you guys have any more questions after this. But okay, so let's get into the questions. Okay, where should we start? Okay, so are there any editing tools for Windows? So that is a great question. Answer live. So there are editing tools for Windows. Premiere Pro is also for Windows. So I had a PC before I had this Mac, and I used Premiere Pro. I highly recommend it. It is great for both Windows and Mac. There's really no difference in the end between either one. It totally depends on your preference, and I would highly recommend Premiere Pro. There are other programs that are free, but sometimes with the free programs, you can have more issues. That's why I like Premiere Pro. So I'm gonna also, let's see, I'm going to put up my face again. Let's see if I can do this. Do you guys, let's see. Oh, you don't see my face. Let me make sure I'm sharing. Okay, cool. Video. Yay. Hey, I'm here again. Awesome. Okay, so as I'm answering the questions, I thought it would be easier for me to just come on here again. Okay, so do I need 2 channels for 2 subjects? Great question. I want to share my music covers and original music, but I also want to share my recipes and fitness favorites. That is a really cool, two very separate niches. So I do think that, and I've thought about this before, because I actually have a second channel that I barely use. So the easy answer, the answer that you might want to hear is that yes, two channels for two separate subjects. That makes sense completely. However, I would say that when you first start out, it's going to be really hard to build two channels at the same time. I only started my second channel when I had already built my first channel up a lot. So that helped me build the second channel. It's up to you. I think that you just need to know that it's going to take a lot of time. So maybe in the beginning you pick one to really focus on. But yeah, in general, those are two very separate topics. So the people who are interested in subscribing for music might not be interested in recipes and fitness favorites. So technically they are two channels. If you have time for it, feel free. And I do think you should do two separate channels for each one. Great question. Thank you for asking. And then let's see. Okay. How do you do a trailer video and how do you post it on Instagram or Snap? Great question. So all my videos and trailers, anything like that, I will edit it in Premiere Pro. So I would say edit your whole video first, edit it and make sure it's perfect and great and wonderful. It doesn't have to be perfect, but I think a lot of people also with YouTube think that the YouTube video has to be perfect in the beginning. It's not going to be, no matter what, no matter how much time you spend on it. So just take that first step, make the video, make it pretty good, upload it, and you will learn more than you thought you were going to learn by just having people see it and comment on it. People are super friendly, especially in the beginning. They know you're starting out. They'll say, oh, I love this video, but I wish, you shared this longer, or you were on camera longer, or maybe it was more of the food. Tell me the price of it, whatever it is. People have given me advice as I go on that are super helpful. So yeah, I would say make the video first. Then for the trailer, you want to cut down the video, which is easier to go in that order, to cut it down once you've already have the video. And then trailer, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You can just do 15 seconds for Insta stories or Snapchat, or I definitely think the key to a trailer is to keep it short and to make sure that it's interesting and engaging so that people are really curious to say, oh my gosh, what is this video I have to watch? Because there are some trailers to videos on Instagram that are just like, oh, it's just like this beautiful food thing or whatever it is, but I don't know why I would, click over to watch it on YouTube. So make sure that you are keeping people engaged and making sure that there's a reason for them to actually click on YouTube. So for me, with my trailers, I'll say, there was this one really bad hot chocolate place. You have to watch this video to find out which one. Or I'll say, you'll never guess what happened. Recently, something happened crazy in my video and you just have to watch the YouTube video to watch it. So keep people interested and engaged. Okay, so another question, and make sure that you're adding questions in the Q&A section, and I will also get back to the chat questions as well. How can you pass a video from your phone to MacBook for editing? Great question. Oh my gosh, this is a great logistics question. So a lot of times I have an iPhone and a Mac. I will do an AirDrop so easy. It makes my life, I had a Mac, then I had a PC, then I had a Mac again. And in that PC stage, the AirDrop, I missed it. I really missed it. So it is really helpful to have AirDrop, but if you don't, I sometimes will email. It is an awesome opportunity to use Bubble Up. You can upload a video on your phone to Bubble Up, and then it'll still be in your folder when you go to the desktop version. So download the app, make sure you have it. It is super helpful. So let's get back into the chat and make sure that we've got more questions. Yay. And keep typing in those questions. I'm happy to answer anything. We have about 8 minutes left, so I'm going to try to get to everyone. thank you again for tuning in. If anyone's, trying to rush off to a meeting, I just want to say thank you again for tuning in, and check out the Bubble Up link and make sure that you're in the folder, because it is super. I'm going to type it in one last time. So make sure that you are in this folder right here in the chat. That is where all the resources are that I went over today. And that is where you will be able to find even more resources. You can like, engage, comment, add things to your folder, and we can all engage in there forever. It's always there. Okay, so what are your thoughts on brand ambassadors, where you pay for a shipping or a small business sends you free clothes to market your channel on Instagram? So that is a good question. When you first start out, it can be a great opportunity to work with new brands. I personally do not love working in that way with brands, because it can be so much work for a free ambassadorship. It's not free for me, and I need to pay my rent. As a full-time YouTuber, I do not really do ambassadorships or free things. So you can find some really great influencers who might be able to do it in the beginning, but it's not the best way to build a long-term relationship, is my thoughts on that. So I hear a lot of content creators say that you should be posting weekly or building your channel. Is this true? When you work full-time, it's super difficult to manage uploading each week, so I tend to upload bi-weekly. So, that's a great question. I would say when you work full-time, it's super, yeah, I think that you have to figure out what's good for you and your schedule. When you work full-time, I've been there so much. For 80% of my YouTube channel, I worked full-time. So in 2 different jobs. So I would say upload bi-weekly, like lower those expectations, so that when you do upload 3 videos in a month, people are excited. If you try to say, oh, I'm going to do weekly, but you can't actually do weekly, it'll be a lot more frustrating for your audience if you said you're going to do weekly and you don't. So definitely try to set those expectations low so you can over deliver. Let's see, what other questions do we have in the chat? How do you add ads, and do you get sponsorships? So I do add ads by clicking. I have okay. So because I have 1,000 subscribers and over 4,000 hours of watch time, I am allowed by YouTube. They basically give me the permission to add ads to my YouTube videos. And then I check a box, and then there we go. Monetization exists. Otherwise, there can be ads that YouTube makes money off of. But then a little portion of it does go to me. So that is awesome. I love that feature that a lot of other socials don't necessarily have. And then I would say that basically you can do sponsorships. I didn't really get sponsorships until probably later on, maybe around 10,000 subscribers is when sponsorships are more prominent. It did help that I had a blog, and network through that really does help. Q&A for later from Sindel. Wondering about audio sweet spot, something that stumped me yesterday while editing, figuring out any professional YouTube audio specs are for clearest, crisp audio. That's a good question. I don't think there's anything specific, but I would say that you really want to practice clear, crisp audio. Making sure that you have a really good mic goes such a long way. Sometimes having backup audio. So I've actually just gotten into podcasting, and I have even more appreciation for audio because of that. So sometimes I have a backup. I'll have, my mic on my camera. Number one, you always test it. So if you have the mic attached into the mic jack in your camera, you have to make sure that you record it. Testing, this is me talking. You click play, and if you can't hear yourself, and ideally you're listening with an actual headphones, you're going to really hear the difference. If there's any issue with crackling, if there's any issues, if you use a more expensive mic that has, I have a $500 mic that has so many issues because there's interference in New York City. So you want to listen to all of these audio recordings and things as you're going to make sure it's still recording, it's working correctly. It could be as simple as turning it on. Certain mics, you have to click a button to turn it on. I think it's the silliest thing. But you just want to be testing your audio as you go. And I think, spending a certain amount of money on audio, not necessarily $500, just $50 for like a Rode mic, is really helpful and definitely goes a long way. Okay, so we had the question earlier about how long a YouTube video should be. Definitely love that 10 to 15 minutes range. Okay, I'm just looking to see if we have any other last minute questions. Okay, so someone asked, with celebrities now entering the realm of YouTube, do you feel like content is realistic to become a full-time content creator? Yes, I actually do think that we as normal people are more relatable than your average celebrity. So if you have an interesting point of view or perspective on anything, don't be afraid to start. Just start it. It's definitely worth it. And it's something that I just recommend. If you're interested, if you like talking to people, you will do great. Get started. You got to start somewhere. And celebrities will oftentimes, they hit a peak. So like there's only so many followers and engagement that they can have, and that's great. But they're not going to be the only ones that do well on social media. People will still always love, especially on YouTube, the personable person that you really, connect with. Okay, so we have one more minute. Thank you again. We did it. Oh my gosh, yay. Congratulations, we got to the end. Thank you again, everyone. I do it again. Okay, you guys are awesome. Would love to do this again, and definitely email me, jennifer@thetravelwomen.com, if you need anything, if you have any questions. I have my folder, as you know. This same link that's in the chat is constantly of access to you guys, so you can read the articles I shared and the videos and see all those examples in person and have fun. And I really appreciate you guys. I again want to say thank you. You've stuck through it. I really appreciate it. It's been so fun to talk to you guys and to really engage with all the questions and answers. So thank you so much. Again, you guys are awesome. And I will hopefully talk to you guys again soon. Okay, thank you guys. Bye. Thank you.